Hello, fellow Empty to Benchers. Hey, this is Mike from Empty to Bench, and this is an ETB presentation. We're going to continue our series on our player rankings, and this week we are doing week 2 running backs. We're going to do a quick review of the running backs, and we'll discuss how they fared last week, and we'll compare that to how we project them going forward this week. So you can see here's some stats of what happened last week during week 1. Um, one of the big surprises for us was D'Angelo Williams. He horsed the ball through for basically 143 yards. He had a great game, and he finishes out on top. We did have Lamar Miller, and we had him pretty highly ranked already, and you can see that he followed it up with a pretty solid game. Matt Forte, he did well as well. He's been pretty consistent. He's always been pretty consistent throughout his career. So he finished out in the number 3 position this week. And see, what other big surprises did we see? We honestly thought that we would see more out of Todd Gurley. We had him actually ranked number 2 last week, and we didn't see a whole lot from him this week in week 1. Now we do know that he'll bounce back, but quite honestly, we thought he would have had a bigger game last week. You would have thought that he would have got used a little more in both the passing and rushing game. You'd think that his offense would be kind of centered around them a bit. LeGarrette Blount taking on the majority of the workload at New England, had a pretty solid game as well. So there you go. I mean, this is last week's rankings or last week's stats overall as far as running. Pretty fast starts out there. Angelo Williams was a fantasy killer last week, or I guess we'd say fantasy hero last week. Here's our week 2 rankings, how we got our running backs ranked this week. If you go to our site, emptytobench.com, you'll see that. And again, we're carrying Adrian Peterson over in the number 1 position. Even though his stats weren't huge last week, we still have him as the top overall running back, and figure by the end of the season he's going to be maintaining that position. David Johnson jumps up to number 2 from the 3 spot. He proved to be basically a huge horse. I mean, there was some outstanding videotape on him, or highlight reels this week on him, and some of the runs. One play where he basically carried players for a 40-yard run. Lamar Miller jumps up. Like we said, we had him ranked in the top 5, but we got him now currently number 3. This week, one of the big surprises for us, you can see we had him ranked number 34, jumps up to the number 6 spot. Melvin Gordon, it looks like he's finally going to get the majority of the carries out there in San Diego, and we know from watching him at Wisconsin that he is a stud and will be in the pros. And it looks like he's off to a very fast start. We did increase Matt Forte from 11 to 8 just because of his consistency. And then you can see a couple other players that jumped up. Matt Ryan's increased his stock, as well as C.J. Anderson from the Broncos. He was extremely fast this week from what we watched. He was very quick, and he looks to be going to be a huge part of the Denver Broncos ground attack. They're bringing in very young quarterbacks, so they're going to rely upon the run a little bit more, and he did a very good job. So we bumped him up to the number 13 spot. So this concludes our running back ranking video, and we've got a whole series where we're ranking quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, kickers, defenses. And please check out our other posts, our other articles, and check out our other videos. So we'll talk to you soon.